Exodus 36. So Bezalel and Aholiab and every skilled person in whom the Lord has put skill and ability to know how to do all the work for the service of the sanctuary are to do the work according to all that the Lord has commanded. All right, so just one thought here, maybe. Are these spiritual gifts? The skill that Bezalel and Aholiab have, are they spiritual gifts? How do we attest to them? Are they just skills that they have learned? They're using them, skill and ability that they have to do the work of service to the sanctuary. So does that make it a spiritual gift? The reason I ask that kind of thing is because anytime you do a spiritual gifts inventory, you don't always have like skills that are listed like this that are tangible. But what if your skill is in cleaning? Could you have that as a spiritual gift? I ask it because we sometimes narrow the thought that something cannot be spiritual if it's something that anybody could do. Like, do you have the spiritual gift of sweeping the floor and mopping the floor? Well, no, you can't. It's just sweeping and mopping. And so maybe you do. I mean, because hospitality is a spiritual gift. The gift of hospitality, the making people feel welcome, the hosting and entertaining, the knowing people by name, those kinds of things are. So I ask that question because sometimes I think we want to go do spiritual gifts inventories and we end up with just very, very narrow things instead of just saying, you know what? We don't necessarily have to have a gifts inventory to realize that somebody's gift is this or skill and talent is this, and you can use it for God. So I bring that up here because Bezalel and Aholiab, their skills, probably not on most spiritual gifts inventories. Another thing that I bring up is teaching can be seen as a spiritual gift, but teaching could also be seen as a talent, and it also could be something that you could learn. So does it change? Is it different? Are they this overlap there? So that's why I bring those things up. Luce is welcome in. Moses summoned Bezalel and Aholiab and every skilled person in whom the Lord had put skill, everyone whose heart stirred him to volunteer to do the work. So not only are the people whose hearts are stirred in order to give, but their hearts are stirred to volunteer to do the work. So they are volunteers doing the work. So it doesn't sound like they're getting paid for anything. They're just volunteering to do the work, which is often what we do in churches. We have people volunteer to do certain things on a regular basis rather than pay people to do them. They received from Moses all the offerings the Israelites had brought to do the work for the service of the sanctuary, and they still continued to bring him a freewill offering every morning. So they've collected this, but every morning people bring more. They bring more. So all the skilled people who were doing the work of the sanctuary came from the work they were doing and told Moses, "The people are bringing much more than is needed for the completion of the work which the Lord commanded us to do." So they go and complain. This is the most fascinating thing to me. The people are bringing much more than is needed for the completion of the work which the Lord commanded us to do. I mean, I've never run into this situation. I would love to run into this situation where you're doing an offering for something and it's just like, we need $100,000 in order to do, I'm just picking a nice round number, $100,000 in order to accomplish this. And oh no, we've gotten $1 million. Hey, people, stop giving. Stop giving. We've gotten 10 times what we need. I mean, I can't fathom that. Moses instructed them to take his message throughout the camp, saying, "Let no man or woman do any more work for the offering for the sanctuary." So Moses has to send out a decree to say, stop it. Stop giving. No more offerings. No more offerings from you. Stop it. You're causing them to have to stop doing work to collect more offerings. We don't have storage space for so much. No, we don't. Well, I guess they're just storing it out in the open, and gold, silver, bronze aren't going to rot. Might have to have more care in the linens that are given. So the people were restrained from bringing any more. Now the materials were more than enough to do all the work. So It wasn't just that they miscalculated, just making sure you know that. What they gave was more than enough. So they already knew, because they're skilled workmen, and they knew how much they needed in order to create and do everything. And they said, stop it, no more. And what they had was more than enough. So, you've poured out too much blessing. Stop blessing us. Exactly. Well, I was just thinking about that. Like, I guess in one location where I could see the idea of bringing too much in is building a house. Like, if I'm building a house and I know the supplies that are needed, there's a bunch of lumber that's needed. Well, what if 3 times as much lumber shows up? It's not like I build a bigger house. It's just waste at that point because, well, there's no more that's needed. If I have a front door and a back door and all of a sudden there's 10 doors there, I don't need those. I've got my front door and my back door. What do I do with the others? So the extra that is being brought, because we already have the very specific instructions, the blueprints for everything, and above and beyond that is not needed. All right. All the skilled among those who were doing the work made the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twisted linen and blue and purple and scarlet yarn. They were made with cherubim. They were the work of an artistic designer. The length of one curtain was 42 feet, and the width of the curtain was 6 feet, the same size for each of the curtains. He joined 5 curtains to one another, and the other 5 curtains he joined to one another. Okay, so it's not breaking down. It gave us the cubits earlier. I can't do the conversion of cubits there in my head, so sorry about that. If you're looking for that, you'll have to go back and check out when we first were giving the instructions here. There are 5 curtains and 5 curtains, so 5 Torah. We can see that. He made loops of blue material along the edge of the end curtain in the first set. He did the same along the edge of the end curtain in the second set. He made 50 loops on the first curtain, and he made 50 loops on the end curtain that was in the second set, with the loops opposite one another. He made 50 gold clasps and joined the curtains together to one another with the clasp, so that the tabernacle was a unit. So what we're getting here is the description of the building. We're supposed to note that this is, yes, exactly like the instructions were given. This was not made in any deviation from that. And we also see that that's all coming together with indeed having skill and craftsmen that are doing it. He made curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. He made 11 curtains. What do we have here on the footnote? 11 curtains, he made them. Okay, they're just the footnote is just word order there. The length of one curtain was 45 feet, and the width of one curtain was 6. So 45 here instead of 42. So we have a change there from up above. One size for all 11 curtains. He joined 5 curtains by themselves and 6 curtains by themselves. He made 50 loops along the edge of the end curtain in the first set, and 50 loops along the edge of the curtain, and joined the second set. He made 50 bronze clasps to join the tent together so that it might be a unit. So here we have the correct clasps. They're bronze, and they're bolting it all together, the loops that are there. He made a cover for the tent out of ram skins dyed red, and over that covering of fine leather. So we did have a note here of what that is. Like, the fine leather is, well, it's a word. We're not sure what animal it's coming from. So if you are ever running into a weird, translation that might have dolphin skins here, or badger skins, or other things, that's because we really do not know what that word is going to be. Us as a dolphin, so something the animal is meant, something like a dolphin or a porpoise. Some do it as seal skins, some hides of sea cows, so manatees. Porpoises are common in the Red Sea. Their skin are used in clothing by Bedouins. The word also is connected with the Egyptian word for leather. So it could just be connected to the Egyptian word for leather, and it's fine leather. That might be all that it really is implying there. All right, so now we got to go back to Exodus 36. I want to make sure you saw that and understood that. So when you see other translations, it doesn't cause you any concern. He made the frames for the tabernacle of acacia wood as uprights. The length of each frame was 15 feet. The width of each frame was 2¼ feet, with 2 projections per frame parallel one to another. He made all the frames of the tabernacle in this way. So he made frames for the tabernacle, 20 frames for the south side. He made 40 silver bases under the 20 frames, 2 bases under the first frame for its 2 projections, and likewise 2 bases under the next frame for its 2 projections. And for the second side of the tabernacle, the north side, he made 20 frames and their 40 silver bases, 2 bases under the first frame and 2 bases under the next frame. And for the back of the tabernacle on the west, he made 6 frames. He made 2 frames for the corner of the tabernacle on the back at the 2 corners. There were doubled at the lower end and finished together at the top in 1 ring. So he did for both. So there were 8 frames, and their silver bases, 16 bases, 2 bases under each frame. So again, we're getting description of everything being built according to the instructions that were given. We're getting them built now, and the action of the building matches the blueprints that were given. He made bars of acacia wood, 5 for the frames on one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames on the second side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the frames of the tabernacle for the back side on the west. So again, we're getting here's the direction that the tabernacle, the back is the west, the front is the east. He made the middle bar to reach from end to end in the center of the frames. He overlaid the frame with gold and made the rings of gold to provide places for the bars, and he overlaid the bars with gold. He made the special curtain of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and fine twisted linen. He made it with cherubim, the work of an artistic designer. He made for it 4 posts of acacia wood and overlaid them with gold and gold hooks, and he cast them 4 silver bases. Silver bases, silver bases, they're constructing the tabernacle. All right, he made a hanging for the entrance of the tent of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn and twisted linen, the work of an embroiderer, and its 5 posts and their hooks. He overlaid their tops and their bands with gold, but their bases were bronze. So we're, again, following along. Everything is coming together, all together, as instructed.